The UNSS Mercy Star glided silently through the depths of space, its pristine white hull gleaming against the backdrop of distant stars. At 3 kilometers long, it was humanity's crowning achievement in medical engineering, a vessel dedicated to a single purpose: healing any being in need, regardless of species or origin. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck, her dark eyes reflecting the stellar vista before her. 20 years of service in the United Earth Medical Fleet had etched fine lines around her eyes, each one earned through countless missions of mercy across the galaxy. The subtle vibration of the ship's quantum engines thrummed through the deck plates beneath her feet, a constant reminder of the incredible technology that allowed them to reach those in need across vast distances. Captain, the calm voice of Dr. Marcus Rivera, her chief medical officer, came through the comm. The Centaurian delegation is ready for their tour. Chen straightened her white uniform, the silver caduceus on her collar catching the starlight. On my way, Marcus. How's our newest patient from the mining colony doing? Stable. The radiation treatment protocols we developed for silicon-based life forms are working better than expected. The captain allowed herself a small smile as she made her way through the ship's wide corridors. The Mercy Star wasn't just a hospital ship. It was a testament to humanity's dedication to healing. Every deck housed medical facilities designed to treat virtually any known species in the galaxy. Automated medical drones hummed efficiently through the passages, carrying supplies and monitoring patients. The Centaurian delegation waited in the main reception area, their crystalline bodies refracting the soft lighting in rainbow patterns across the walls. Chen had learned early in her career that in space medicine, anatomy was just the beginning. Understanding cultural protocols around healing was equally crucial. "Welcome to the Mercy Star," she greeted them in their native tongue, the ship's translation matrix ensuring perfect pronunciation. "We're honored to share our medical knowledge with your people." The lead Centaurian, a being named First Light After Storm, chimed melodiously in response. "The honor is ours, Captain. Your species' dedication to healing has become legendary among our worlds." As Chen led them through the ship's medical bays, she couldn't help but feel pride in what humanity had achieved. The Mercy Star carried over 10,000 beds, 2,000 medical staff from across Earth's nations, and equipment that could diagnose and treat nearly any known condition in the galaxy. They passed through the Emergency Response Center, where Dr. Yuki Tanaka was coordinating a response to a mining accident in the Proxima system. Holographic displays showed patient data floating in the air, while medical teams prepared for the incoming casualties. "Our response time has been reduced to under 4 hours for any emergency within 50 light years," Chen explained to the fascinated Centaurians. "The quantum drive system." Captain, the ship's AI, designated Florency, interrupted with uncharacteristic urgency. "Priority distress signal detected. Source is a Novarian research vessel, reporting severe casualties from an unexplained explosion." Chen's expression shifted from diplomatic to focused in an instant. "Location: edge of the Carina sector, approximately 6 hours at maximum speed." "Plot a course," Chen ordered, turning to her guests. "My apologies, but duty calls. Would you like to observe our emergency protocols in action?" First Light After Storm's crystalline form pulsed with interest. "We would be honored." Throughout the massive vessel, medical teams began their practice preparations. Dr. Rivera's voice echoed through the medical decks, coordinating response teams and reviewing Novarian physiological data. The Mercy Star's engines hummed with increased power as the ship altered course. None of them knew that this routine emergency response would soon test not just their medical skills, but humanity's most deeply held principles. The distress call that pulled them toward the Carina sector wasn't just another mission of mercy. It was about to become the catalyst for events that would reshape the galaxy's understanding of humanity forever. In the ship's tactical center, Lieutenant James Wong ran standard safety scans of their destination sector. It was routine work. Hospital ships were protected by interstellar law and centuries of tradition. The Mercy Star didn't carry weapons. It didn't need them. Their mission was healing, and even the most hardened pirates respected the ancient codes protecting medical vessels. Or so they thought. As the Mercy Star streaked through space toward those who needed help, none of its crew could have imagined that their dedication to healing was about to unleash something that the galaxy had never seen: humanity's capacity, not just for mercy, but for justice. Betrayal in the void. The first sign that something was wrong came from the ship's quantum sensors. Lieutenant Wong frowned at his readings, his fingers dancing across the holographic display. "Captain, the energy signature from the Novarian vessel. It's not matching any known civilian configuration." Captain Chen leaned forward in her command chair, years of experience setting off warning bells in her mind. "Fluorescency, full spectrum analysis. Anomalous power readings detected," the AI reported. "Energy output exceeds reported damage parameters by 300%. Caution advised." Before Chen could respond, space itself seemed to tear open around them. 5 ships materialized from quantum space, their hulls a deep obsidian that absorbed light rather than reflected it. They weren't Novarian vessels. They were something else entirely. "Quantum signature matches Kryvak's design," Wong reported, his voice tight. "They're a species from the outer rim, known for..." "Rating," Chen finished grimly. "All hands. Emergency protocols. Medical staff, secure all patients. This is not a drill." The Mercy Star's shields hummed to life. Defensive screens designed to protect against space debris and radiation, not weapons. They were a hospital ship. They weren't supposed to need military-grade defenses. "This is Captain Chen of the UNSS Mercy Star." She broadcast on all frequencies. "We are a medical vessel protected under Article 7 of the Galactic Concordat. Stand down immediately." The response came in a harsh, grating voice. "We know exactly what you are, human. Your advanced medical equipment will fetch excellent prices on the frontier markets. Prepare to be boarded." In the medical bay, Dr. Rivera was organizing the defense of their most vulnerable patients. "Move all critical cases to the inner wards," he ordered his staff. "Seal all pharmaceutical storage units. Remember your oaths. We protect our patients, no matter what." The first impact rocked the ship, the Kryvak's weapons easily overwhelming their civilian-grade shields. Throughout the vessel, medical staff formed human barriers in front of their patients' beds, armed with nothing but their determination to protect those in their care. "They're targeting our propulsion systems," Wong reported as another blast shook the ship. "We can't outrun them." Chen's mind raced. The Mercy Star carried over 3,000 patients from 24 species. Some couldn't be moved. Others required constant life support. Surrender wasn't an option. These raiders wouldn't care about proper medical protocols or the delicate needs of their patients. The first boarding pod attached to the hull near the main pharmaceutical storage. The sound of cutting tools echoed through the corridors as the raiders began forcing their way in. Security teams, armed only with non-lethal stunners for handling unruly patients, took up defensive positions. "Captain," Florence's voice was urgent. "I've detected multiple boarding attempts. They're targeting our medical storage facilities and critical care units." In the pediatric ward, Nurse Maria Santos stood in front of a row of incubation pods containing infants from 6 different species. Each one required specific environmental conditions to survive. Behind her, 2 other nurses quickly checked the backup power systems for the pods. They could hear the sound of fighting getting closer. The raiders that burst through the door were tall, their bodies covered in black combat armor that seemed to drink in the light. Their faceless helmets turned toward the medical staff, weapons raised. "Step aside." Their leader growled through an external translator. "We're taking the medical equipment. Resist, and..." "This is a pediatric ward," Santos interrupted, her voice steady despite her fear. "These are children. You will not touch them." The raider's response was to fire a warning shot over her head, leaving a scorch mark on the wall. "Your species' dedication to healing makes you weak. Move, or the next shot won't miss." Santos didn't budge. "If you want these children, you'll have to go through me first." In the command center, Chen watched the security feeds with growing horror as similar scenes played out across her ship. Her medical staff, armed with nothing but their oaths and courage, standing against armed raiders to protect their patients. "Florence," she said quietly, "initiate Protocol Omega-7. "Captain," the AI's voice held a note of surprise. "That protocol hasn't been used since. Do it. Now." Throughout the ship, hidden quantum transmitters activated, sending a signal that traveled faster than light toward Earth. It wasn't a normal distress call. It was something else, a message that would activate systems that had laid dormant for centuries, waiting for this exact scenario. The message was simple: hospital ship Mercy Star under attack. Medical staff and patients in danger. Omega-7 confirmed. As the raiders continued their assault, as brave medical staff fought to protect their vulnerable patients with nothing but their bodies and their determination, none of them knew that they had just triggered humanity's response to its oldest fear. What would happen if someone mistook their dedication to healing for weakness? The galaxy was about to learn why humanity's hospital ships traveled alone, without escorts or weapons. It wasn't because they were vulnerable. It was because something far worse than weapons washed over them. The hidden shield. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility that didn't exist on any public record, Admiral Helena Vasquez stood before a wall of holographic displays as the Omega-7 signal pulsed through the quantum network. Her dark eyes narrowed as she read the message again, each word burning into her consciousness. Hospital ship Mercy Star under attack. "Status of the Aegis fleet?" she asked, her voice carrying the weight of centuries of preparation. "All ships reporting ready, Admiral," her tactical officer responded. "The Nightingale battle group can reach the Mercy Star's position in 40 minutes. Full fleet deployment in 2 hours." Vasquez nodded slowly. For 300 years, humanity had presented a peaceful face to the galaxy. They had built hospital ships instead of battleships, sent doctors instead of soldiers. Not because they couldn't build weapons, but because they had chosen a different path. But they had also prepared for this moment. "Send the message," she ordered. "All frequencies, all languages. Let them know what's coming." Across the galaxy, communication arrays activated. The message was brief. "To those who have attacked the UNSS Mercy Star, you have violated humanity's most sacred principle. You will learn why our hospital ships travel unescorted." In hidden bases throughout the solar system, ships unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen emerged from quantum-locked docks. Their hulls were made of materials that absorbed all scanning attempts. Their engines operated on principles that humanity had kept secret for centuries. Each ship bore the name of a famous healer from Earth's history: Nightingale, Pasteur, Salk, Curie. But these weren't hospital ships. These were humanity's answer to the question: what happens when someone mistakes kindness for weakness? On the bridge of the UES Nightingale, Captain Diana Patel stood before her crew. "For 3 centuries, we've trained for this moment. We've hidden our true capabilities, letting the galaxy think we were nothing but peaceful healers. Today, we show them why that was a choice, not a weakness." The Nightingale's quantum drive engaged, tearing a hole in space-time itself. The ship didn't just travel through space. It moved through dimensions that the rest of the galaxy didn't know existed. Behind it, 30 more ships of the first response group followed, their formation perfect, their crews ready. Back on the Mercy Star, the medical staff continued their desperate defense. Dr. Rivera had turned the intensive care unit into a fortress, using medical beds and equipment to create barricades. The raiders had already taken the outer wards, but they were finding that every meter of progress cost them dearly. "They're reaching the pediatric ward," Florence reported to Captain Chen. "Nurse Santos and her team are still holding position." Chen's hands gripped her command chair. She had activated Omega-7, but had no way of knowing if the signal had reached Earth, if help was coming. All she could do was buy time and pray that the stories were true, that humanity's dedication to healing was matched by its capacity to protect those who heal. In the pediatric ward, Santos stood her ground as the raiders tried to force their way through the reinforced doors. Behind her, the soft beeping of incubators reminded her of what she was protecting. She had taken an oath to do no harm, but she had also sworn to protect her patients. Sometimes, those two promises came into conflict. The doors began to glow red as the raiders' cutting tools reached their final layer. Santos checked the portable life support units they had attached to each incubator. If they had to move, they would have exactly 7 minutes before the backup power failed. The raiders never got the chance to breach the door. The first sign that something had changed was a sudden silence. The cutting sounds stopped. Then came a voice over the ship's comm system. A new voice, calm and precise. "This is Captain Diana Patel of the UES Nightingale to all Krivax raiders. Your ships have been disabled. Your quantum communications are blocked. Your weapons will no longer function. You have 30 seconds to surrender before we demonstrate why attacking the human hospital ship was the worst mistake your species has ever made." In the command center, Chen watched in amazement as new ships appeared on her sensors. Ships unlike anything she had ever seen. Their hulls seemed to bend light around them, making them look like holes in space itself. They moved with impossible precision, surrounding the Krivax vessels. "Florence," she whispered, "what am I looking at?" "Classification unknown," the AI responded. "These ships do not match any known human or alien design. They appear to be operating on principles that violate known physics." The raiders in the corridors suddenly found their weapons dead, their armor systems offline. Through the ship's windows, they could see their own vessels hanging motionless in space, held in quantum locks that they didn't understand. This was humanity's hidden strength, not the capacity for violence, but the ability to render violence impossible. The Aegis fleet didn't need to destroy. It simply prevented any action it deemed unacceptable. As the raiders were systematically contained and captured, as medical teams rushed to treat those injured in the attack, as the galaxy's communication networks buzzed with the news of what had happened, one thing became clear. Humanity had just revealed that its peaceful nature was a choice, and those who challenged that choice would face not brutality, but something far more terrifying. Justice delivered with surgical precision by those who had perfected both the art of healing and the science of war. Justice, not vengeance. In the aftermath of the Mercy Star incident, the galaxy witnessed something unprecedented. The Aegis fleet's response wasn't a demonstration of destructive power. It was a masterclass in precise intervention. The Krivax raiders found themselves systematically contained, their technology neutralized, their operations dismantled with surgical precision. Admiral Vasquez stood before the United Earth Council, presenting holographic data from the operation. "Within 72 hours, we identified and neutralized 37 raider bases across 17 star systems. No casualties, no collateral damage. Every piece of stolen medical equipment recovered." The council chamber was silent as they watched the footage. The Aegis fleet's ships moved like ghosts through space, using technology that defied conventional understanding. They didn't destroy the raider bases. They simply stopped them from functioning, isolating them in quantum fields that made violence impossible. On the Mercy Star, now safely docked at Earth's primary medical station, Captain Chen walked through her ship's corridors alongside Captain Patel. The damage from the raid was already being repaired by advanced medical fabrication units. "All these years," Chen said quietly, "every hospital ship captain heard the stories. That we weren't really unprotected. That something watched over us. But I never imagined." Patel nodded. The Aegis fleet was humanity's answer to a question we hoped would never be asked. How do we protect those who heal without compromising their mission of peace? In the pediatric ward, Nurse Santos was finally getting some rest. All her patients were safe, their incubators functioning normally. On her desk sat a commendation from Earth Command, not for fighting, but for staying true to her oath as a healer even in the face of death. The captured raiders were facing justice, but not in the way they expected. The human courts had rendered an unusual sentence: community service in medical facilities, learning firsthand why healing was so sacred to humanity. In the Kryvax home system, their political leadership received a message from Earth. It wasn't a threat or an ultimatum. It was an offer to establish the galaxy's first dedicated medical defense protocol, a framework for protecting all medical vessels, regardless of species. Your people have skills that could save lives, Admiral Vasquez told the Kryvax High Commander during the negotiations. Join us in protecting those who heal, and we'll teach you everything we know about medicine. This isn't about punishment. It's about making the galaxy better for everyone. The revelation of the Aegis fleet sent shockwaves through galactic society. Species that had dismissed humanity as naive healers now understood that peace wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a choice made from a position of incredible strength. News spread quickly. The humans had developed technology centuries ahead of other species, not for conquest or commerce, but to protect their healers. They had hidden this power not out of fear, but because they genuinely preferred healing to warfare. In medical facilities across the galaxy, human doctors continued their work, now openly protected by ships that could stop violence without causing harm. The Mercy Star's story became a symbol of a new era, one where healing was recognized not just as a noble calling, but as something worth protecting with the most advanced technology ever developed. Captain Chen stood at her familiar spot on the observation deck, watching Earth's medical station slowly rotate against the backdrop of stars. A sleek Aegis vessel passed silently by, its presence no longer a secret but a reminder. "Florence," she asked, "how many distress calls have we received since the incident?" "Incoming medical emergency requests have increased by 300%, Captain," the AI reported. "It seems many species are no longer afraid to ask humans for help." Chen smiled. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Humanity's greatest achievement wasn't their hidden fleet or their advanced technology. It was their understanding that true strength lies not in the ability to harm, but in the choice to heal, and the wisdom to protect that choice with all their power. A new dawn. 1 year after the Mercy Star incident, a new vessel emerged from Earth's shipyards. The UNSS Mercy Star Aya dwarfed its predecessor, its pristine white hull gleaming against the cosmic backdrop. The red crosses on its sides were now accompanied by a subtle but unmistakable change, an iridescent quantum shield that shimmered like starlight on water. Captain Chen, now Fleet Medical Commander, stood in the ship's new command center alongside Dr. Rivera and Nurse Santos, both of whom had chosen to remain with their ship despite offers of prestigious positions elsewhere. The medical bay's capacity had tripled, incorporating technologies that had previously been kept hidden. "You know," Rivera said, examining a holographic display of the ship's enhanced medical systems, "a year ago, I would have said it was impossible to combine quantum field technology with medical equipment. Now we're using it to stabilize patients at the molecular level." The Mercy Star Aya wasn't just a hospital ship. It was a testament to humanity's true nature. The vessel carried both the most advanced medical facilities ever created and defensive systems that could render any attack futile, not through violence, but through the same precision that guided a surgeon's hand. In the Galactic Assembly, representatives from over 200 species gathered to sign the Medical Protection Accord. The document, written in every known language, established new principles for the protection of medical vessels and facilities throughout known space. The Kryvax, former raiders, were among its strongest supporters. "We have learned," the Kryvax High Commander addressed the Assembly, "that true power lies not in the ability to take life, but in the choice to preserve it. Humanity didn't defeat us. They showed us a better way." The Aegis fleet, no longer hidden, had evolved. Its ships now openly escorted medical vessels of all species, their presence a reminder that healing was protected by something far more powerful than weapons. They had become known as the Guardians of Mercy, their technology freely shared with any species that pledged to use it only for the protection of medical facilities. In orbit around Earth, the first Galactic Medical Academy opened its doors. Doctors and healers from across the cosmos came to learn not just human medical techniques, but the philosophy that had driven humanity to create its most advanced technology for healing rather than harm. On the Mercy Star U's observation deck, Captain Chen watched as a group of former raiders, now medical students, practiced emergency response protocols alongside human doctors. Their natural agility and strength, once used for violence, now served to help move patients and equipment efficiently. "Florence," she asked the ship's eye, "what's the status of our latest innovation?" "The quantum healing fields are operating at optimal efficiency, Captain. We can now extend protective medical stasis to an entire sector of space if needed. No one will ever have to fear dying before help arrives again." In the ship's diplomatic section, Admiral Vasquez met with representatives from species that had once viewed humanity as knave healers. They came not to negotiate military treaties, but to learn how to transform their own society's approach to medicine and protection. The Aegis fleet was never about power, Vasquez explained to them. It was about responsibility. "We developed this technology because we believe that those who dedicate their lives to healing others deserve to be protected by the very best we could create." The galaxy had changed. Species that had once built their reputations on military might now competed to develop better medical technologies. The human model, advanced technology in service of healing, had become the new standard for civilization. As the Mercy Star II prepared for its first mission, its quantum drives humming with power that could bend space itself, Captain Chen addressed her crew. They were no longer just doctors and nurses. They were pioneers of a new age where healing was recognized as the highest achievement of any species. "We carry more than medicine," she told them. "We carry humanity's message to the stars. That true civilization isn't measured by its capacity for violence, but by its dedication to preserving life. And that dedication is worth protecting with everything we have." The massive hospital ship moved gracefully away from Earth, its quantum shields shimmering like aurora against the black of space. In its wake, an Aegis vessel followed, not as a weapon of war, but as a symbol of humanity's resolve that never again would those who heal have to fear those who harm. The stars beckoned, and somewhere out there, someone needed help. The Mercy Star II flew on, carrying with it humanity's greatest gifts to the galaxy: the power to heal, and the wisdom to protect that power not through force, but through the simple, inexorable principle that some things are worth defending without compromise. The galaxy had learned that humanity's choice to heal wasn't a sign of weakness. It was the ultimate expression of strength. And in that lesson lay the seeds of a transformation that would echo through the cosmos for generations to come.